What was it that drew you to art?
Well, our family used to discuss art a great deal, and well, contemporary culture, because my parents were involved in one way, and both my brothers were involved in other ways, and we used to discuss art quite adamantly at various times, and I think when I was around about 17, 18. uh, I was at an A-level college doing my A-levels, and we were asked to decorate a dance hall. So we were decorating a dance hall, and on the side there was a piece of lino, and I just did a picture of it, of a cockerel. And when I finished it, I just said, I'm going to be an artist.
When I met you, you were doing a style of painting which could be described as neo-expressionist. Can you tell me how that came about? Why were you painting in that style?
Well, when I first started painting, first 10, 15 years, I was painting a fairly precise kind of picture, figurative, but fairly precise and exact. Towards the end of that time period, I felt I really wanted to loosen up, um, both in my feelings and in the way I express them on canvas. So I deliberately did a year non-figurative painting, what most people would call abstract, but non-figurative, very gestural, very loose, very free. And then towards the end of that period, that year, um, figurative elements started to come in again, figures, faces, landscape, and then that then developed into the expressionism type of painting that you saw.
What was it in you that wanted to come out in painting in that way?
Well, I wanted a free, open range so that whatever I felt inwardly, I could express. And the way it happened at that time was it, and freedom of movement. So the free feeling I could just then translate almost straight away onto canvas without any too much thought, without the mind interfering too much.
The experience you described with your father, are you able to
Yes.
talk about that?
Well, my father had died approximately a year before I had the experience, and again, obviously in Latihan, I must have inwardly been either thinking of him or asking a question, is he all right, or whatever. And I just started a whole sequence then. I saw him uh, locked into a rock formation so that he was completely engulfed in rock and no movement at all. Um, and I just thought, oh my God, he's dead. He's locked into the material world. He's dead. But I saw that two or three times in different latte hands. This all happened over a couple of months at various latte hands. Then the next sequence was I suddenly saw him beginning to move. And then through a series, he began to disengage from the rock and he became more like a person, but he was like a cubist figure, as if he was still encased in rock, but like the arms were volumes of material, and he walked like a robot, jerkily like a robot. And again, over a series of things that of Latihan's experiences, he slowly began to assume a more human form and began to walk and be more natural as a human being. And I suppose he's just slowly being released. Um, and eventually it came to the fact that he was free and he just his spirit came to me, or his presence came to me in the Latihan, and he just simply said, "I'm okay now. I'm okay." And I just thought, well, he's been released by the Latihan, and that's a phenomenal thing, phenomenal blessing. It's just like being in Latihan, really. I'm just doing what comes, and I have a really strong kind of almost a beautiful feeling, a tremendous a feeling of love and that kind of thing. So and as I'm painting, it's almost as if I'm talking to, well, you can't talk to God as such, but you're talking to the spiritual signs, because quite often I talk to myself as I'm painting. But it's just like a kind of worship, a form of Latihan almost.